I think knows these distinguished panel members. As you all know, right, this finance, cybersecurity, technology, and politics, lines of between these are intertwined nowadays. So, geopolitical dynamics drives the country regulation, country policies, and those regulation and policy impact the Fintech cybersecurity or the Fintech growth of India, and also there are challenges in between, right? So we are today discussing that what are those geopolitical threats we have, and in this session not only that we'll be trying to find out the threats, but also we'll be trying to find out that how we should be navigating as a fintech industry participants. So I'm very pleased, honored, and extremely proud to moderate this session, sir. Thank you for all your time. I know that you are traveling from Delhi. Vijay sir, you're from Mumbai. Thank you. I know that you all are busy here and accepting this, and we all are looking forward to hear from you. So I'll be speaking very less and will be more focusing that your thought, listening and learning from you. So let me start with Mr. Nair sir. So you are the National Cyber Security Coordinator. You decide the country policies. You coordinate among the all the different ministries, etc. So I think you are the best person to tell us that what are the geopolitical threats we have, right? And if those threats, how as a fintech cybersecurity team or CISO or security professional or risk team should identify those risks, and what are the steps we should be taking to protect from those geopolitical threats. Over to you.
Thank you, Pravin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful opportunity given to me by the NPCI for calling me over for this Fintech festival. And I was actually looking forward to this festival to meet you all here, to convey to you that my job as a National Cybersecurity Coordinator is one of the most challenging tasks which has been assigned to me. I actually took on this assignment when I was in the army serving as a lieutenant general, and just because of my passion, I just thought I'd step over to this particular domain and see if we can make a difference. I have my colleague here. We work very closely with Dr. Sanjay Bahl. Also, Sandeep has been a colleague of mine in army. So in the army, we try and protect our cyberspace. We have air-gap networks, which actually gives it a lot of strength in terms of cybersecurity. Can we make a difference at the national level is what I'm looking at. It's a difficult task considering the stretch of our digital public infrastructure and the tremendous efforts our government has taken to make the public infrastructure reach the citizens in the remotest parts of our country. It's amazing to see, I keep quoting this example that I've been right at the southernmost tip of India, which is not Kanyakumari, but there's a place called Campbell Bay where we have the Indira Point. And if you Google it, you'll find out that it's the southernmost portion of India, in Andaman Nicobar, southern Andaman. And it was amazing to see UPI transactions being rolled out there. Actually, I think I must compliment the NPCI for making the UPI reach even to that furthest corners. And this effort would have happened if we had not made our digital public infrastructure reach these remotest locations. So that's why the growth of this public infrastructure has been, one of the aspects we probably overlooked or didn't pay adequate attention is on cybersecurity. Now, I would also blame all of us here that do we have adequate awareness on cybersecurity when we are all carrying our smartphones today? Do we pay adequate attention to cybersecurity when we operate our devices which are with us? As we were, just prior to this, Vitesh was showing us a ring, a wearable device which has it's so immense, so much of benefits it gives it to the citizens, all devices for that matter. But do we ever look at the negative impact of it to cybersecurity, violations which take place? Now I now link it to whatever is happening in the global, space. Now, when we think about conflicts, first thing which comes to our mind is international borders, armed conflicts which are taking place between nations. We also have a standing army, navy, air force which protects us, our territorial borders. But do we ever consider violations in cyberspace ever?
Hello.
Can conflicts which are looming large in the nation, and I won't name any of these conflicts, I'm sure you're all aware of the ongoing conflicts which are there. Do they have an impact on the cyberspace? I'm sure you understand it, you know it that there are nations that are involved in conflicts today, and each of them have an impact on what's happening to the other nations in the vicinity. It's also a global impact. So the very fact that this particular Fintech seminar is being called a global shows that this sector, this Fintech sector is not limited to only our country. It has a universal impact. And similarly, conflicts at any point, anywhere in the world has an impact on security also, similarly. And not only in terms of violations which take place, but also on small other issues like, we have IoT devices which are built in our country, outside. We have applications which are developed in-house, indigenous, as also we use multiple applications from outside. We have the data storage taking place inside the country as also outside. We have the internet, the networks reaching us through multiple points, through submarine cables, terrestrial media, satellite media. So all of it will have an impact if there is a conflict which is looming large. Also, geopolitics in terms of relationships between countries also have an impact on digital space. So that is one of the primary reasons we consider that cybersecurity today is an important facet of national security. And that's one of the reasons, like it can have an impact on our comprehensive national power is a component of multiple elements of governance, like it has your finance sector, the energy sector, the health sector, all of them are connected through the pillar of networks, the cyberspace. And that's why we consider is that. Now, any violation definitely will have an impact. Today, multiple conflicts, as I had mentioned, it definitely makes a difference to us. I'd also mention in case of India specifically, we have a very large digital public infrastructure. Our digital growth has been phenomenal. I'm sure if you just look at the NPCI statistics, they will show you the reach. So also the LSE, the stocks. So many sectors are seeing phenomenal growth because of our connectivity. Do we look at cybersecurity right from the concept of the design stage onwards? We don't. So these are challenges which I felt that we need to address. The critical infrastructure, right? The government has made multiple organizations like the certain the DGs here. We have the National Critical Infrastructure Center, the NCIPC, which looks at the critical infrastructure. We have multiple, the Ministry of MIT looking at various applications developed, data storage, cloud solutions, etc., etc. My job is to coordinate and make sure that the aspect of cybersecurity is inbuilt into each of these governance structures which are created by the government. When our borders are threatened every time, we have common borders with some of our neighbors. Our neighbors are not at some point of time not in always having good neighborly relations. So there are violations which take place in the territorial domain. Similarly, multiple threats loom large in the digital domain too. That's something which we need to be taking care of when we are all making solutions for and providing solutions for the industry as also for the government. So that's all I have to say, Pravin, at this point of time.
It's always learning session for me whenever I interact with you, sir. So if I may ask one question, right? So,
yeah, sure.
So, like I work with tenancy and especially with bank as well. So they have the sanction list of countries. So Do you think that we have reached to that stage so that India as well can copy sanctions or not?
No, we are, first of all, global internet. Internet, if you just look at it, it's supposed to be open, free, secure, and it's supposed to be for reaching every citizen of the world. So, should we put sanctions? Something which we can consider if we cross the issue, but not at this point.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bahl, again, so I just before this session, I was just asking that any interesting fact about you so that I can humanize your introduction. And sir told me that I have 4 eyes. So that's why you took the visionary decision to report any cyber incident within 6 hours. Reporting within even 1 hour, I have seen that number of instances. So from where did you get this thought and what was the rationale behind these 6 hours? I think many of us would be interested to listen from you, and then I'll ask another question.
हिंदी में कहते हैं ना अंधों में ताला लगा No, I mean, if you looked at being in operations and actually working on ground, dirtying your hands, you will realize if you do not report incidents in time, the others also will get impacted. And this is something which you can't do on your own. You have to take it in a law. So if I am getting impacted, why should others get impacted? We need to safeguard it. We need to hold hands, and that's the basic philosophy.
Yes, sir. So, sir, you are kind of protector for Indian nation or Indian EPI and Indian entities as well, right? You run the largest of country. So, what are the typical threats you observe? Especially, our interest would be on the BFSI or mainly on the fintech industry. So, any common threat you see, and how, as a CISO or cybersecurity professional, how should we should be careful and we should be watchful to manage those threats, etc.
Such a lovely weather in Mumbai, and you're all sitting inside a room. We should have practiced outside. So, time for picnic right now. And you just had assume you had a good lunch. Yes, no? People are already asleep. So, how many are not from the fintech industry? So I assume all the others are. So first of all, I just want to compliment the Indian fintech industry because India has the highest fintech adoption rate globally of 87%, which is significantly higher than the global average rate of 64%. So I think that is a round of applause for the fintech industry. So what are the drivers of fintech? These that you can take. I jotted down 5 Ds: digitization, disruption, democratization, decentralization, and data. And all this is also a perfect storm, inviting opportunity for the malicious actors to do all the nefarious activities. I have 2 army officers on one side, a police officer on one side, right? And I am sitting right in between. So what I can actually say is that the digital threats that are targeting fintech services are deemed as potent weapons of mass destruction. And the security of fintech systems and networks requires strengthening. Do you agree? Weapons of mass destruction? Yes, no? So there you know. You understand that yes, the threats are serious. So let me talk about some of the threats that we are actually seeing. In 2023, the top 3 trends which we noticed. The first one was ransomware. The second was attacks on payment gateways and payment service providers. And third was on application program interface attacks. This is what I'm talking from the fintech industry perspective. Because Pravin says that I should speak to fintech and not to finance sector as such. So let me touch upon something what we have observed in certain that the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team as well as we run the financial CISO, the Computer Security Incident Response Team for finance. So what we've seen, I'm sure a lot of you would be aware of, but still I thought I should try. There are increasing number of targeted attacks. And you know, these targeted attacks are becoming very sophisticated and precise. And the attackers are employing advanced techniques and focusing their attacks on organizations, specifically with tailored strategies. Now, this is all carried out by advanced sophisticated actors, and these are we've seen actors like APT41, APT36, APT45, Gold type, etc. And they use various tools and techniques like remote access code. They use notepad and plugins to create backdoors. Through this, they bring the downloaders, ransomware, web shells, and steal the credentials. The second is increased attacks, as I said, on APIs. Fintech has to use APIs. You cannot develop your apps without APIs. And there is a noticeable increase in the cyber attacks on APIs. These attacks are leading to unauthorized access to sensitive data, manipulation of transactions, and service disruption, and also to carry out legal operations. Now, just to give you an example, what we've seen that the API attacks in this sector has grown by 382% in 2023 compared to 2022. Right? So this is something serious. You cannot develop your applications in Fintech without using the cloud today, right? You have API and you also use the cloud. What we've been observing is again a concerning trend with respect to data breaches, leaks, etc. When you're using Fintech and payment systems with cloud. We've observed that the vulnerabilities which are stemming from the lack of security infrastructure and misconfigurations which are happening to the cloud, and also you are unable to protect sensitive financial data with storage. If the attacker gets in, they delete the databases, they delete the data, delete it to the file store in the cloud, etc. So you have that. Then in the payment service provider, you see manageable attacks. During online transaction processing on merchant websites and apps. So which means the integrity of the information is lost. Obviously, when you're using Fintech apps, you're using cloud, you're using APIs, so you have a supply chain. There are third-party risks. Now you need resilient operations. And also you need data protection because the amount of data that you are collecting and processing is humongous. But are you doing that? Are you addressing the risks which are coming through the supply chain and the service providers, third-party providers? You're not addressing it. We've seen cases where an attack on one of these supply chain actors is causing a complete disruption across the whole supply chain. You also do not have proper contractual clauses with each of them. Your service provider might be sitting outside India, in multiple countries, and you do not have proper contracts. So you do not know if the logs are being maintained, not maintained, who has to maintain them, and in case you have a problem and you want to do forensic analysis, will they give it to you or not? You have nothing in place. In terms of ransomware and data breaches, again we've seen increase here, and let me give you some examples. The Fintech companies use open source automation servers without plugging vulnerabilities, which are already known and so you are susceptible to ransomware. You are also using and exposing your databases to the internet and using default usernames which are exploited, and brute force is used for password gaining, etc. and getting it. You are using vulnerable application delivery control servers which get compromised, their shells are put in and then used for the next stage of ransomware. And different variants like ransom EXX, Makeout, ransom hub, Malloc, Flylock, all these are available in this Indian ecosystem. Because these companies are small, your employees are using their personal devices. Now, are personal devices as secure as a large organization provided resources? No. So that's another vector from where malicious actors are getting in and causing disruptions. CERT India also runs the responsible voluntary disclosure program, and we are also a civic numbering authority. And what we have observed and what has been reported to us vulnerabilities from the products are that the APIs of the products and the software which you develop is vulnerable to account takeover, bypassing of two-factor authentications, leaking of personal identifiable information, weak authentication, rate limiting, OTP bypass, and everything. Last 1.5 years, we carried out about 3,735 audits in the Fintech sector. I'm not talking about the finance sector, Fintech sector. Now, what did we notice? Only 5% carried out API security audits. 5%. This is your main thing. 12% carried out source code reviews, and 9% carried out mobile application audits. Today you are using all your Fintech apps to the mobile, so you don't want to audit them. So what were the top vulnerabilities that were reported when we looked at these audits? The vulnerabilities arising due to security misconfigurations, which I have already highlighted, right? Such as sensitive information and inadequate encryption methods, use of unpatched and outdated systems and software, such as Apache Tomcat or Java, Adobe Flash, Adobe Reader, Microsoft Office, MS SQL, VMware, etc. Security misconfigurations, banner grabbing, insecure HTTP, JSON web token misconfigurations, vulnerabilities arising due to programming or coding errors, remote code execution vulnerabilities, password encryption disabled, password in plain text. So, as I said, everything is a perfect storm for everyone to get in and start taking complete advantage of things. Loan apps today are still an issue. So, as we move forward, what is emerging? The integration of AI in phishing attacks. So you will have to be aware of these. Sophisticated impersonation tactics using deepfakes, because a lot of KYC is done digitally today. So how are you going to address this? Blockchain related generation of various fake network nodes and phishing attacks to steal credentials and breaking encryption using quantum. So in this overall scheme of things, what I have talked about, what is it that we are seeing as gaps? There is no firewall or proxies which are used, no multi-factor authentication which is used. The database access and audit logs are not enabled. Access logs, web application server logs, not available when you are doing incident analysis. Logs are being maintained for 7 days and then overwritten. It is clearly against the policy and directions that we have published on 28th of April 2022, saying that you have to maintain logs for 180 days. And so we mentioned that reporting incidents within 6 hours. sensitive details of online payment like cards, expiry month, expiry years, CVV, etc. They are not part of your cash or check sum. So which, when transmitted from the payment aggregator to the gateway, is all available for fintechs, etc. to be manipulated. So what should you be doing? And you said you would also tell us, and you told us what are the issues and challenges, but what should you be doing? So let's be clear that cybersecurity solutions will have to be tailor-made for what you give a customer your work, or the set of customers that you are going to be doing work for. You will have to follow secure coding practices, right from conceptualization stage onwards, your design, development, and the complete life cycle. As I said, fintechs are generally startups and small companies. They do not have much funds, and hence they use low-cost resources without patching, etc., and which is compromising security. So you have to be careful if you really want to go big and global. You will have to start addressing this. You will have to invest in a dedicated cybersecurity team, which has to be separate from your IT operation and infrastructure team, to monitor your complete network security and respond to security alerts by conducting incident response. You will have to maintain and update the threat landscape of your organization, as well as continuous monitoring and managing risk of your supply chain. Now, as the NCSC mentioned about digital public infrastructure, India is going big with DPI, and the same is being adopted by other countries. So if you want to compete globally and be part of that DPI, you will also have to start addressing regulations which are being rolled out. That's what one of the things doing that new regulations, etc. were coming. So you have to be aware of new regulations that are coming across globally from other countries. And one of those is the Digital Operational Resilience Act, which is going to come in force from 17th of January next year. What does it talk about? It says you have to have ICT risk management in place, ICT third-party risk management in place, digital operational resilience testing, ICT-related incidents reporting, information sharing, and oversight of critical third-party providers. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that if you had followed our directions of 2022, it covered all these areas which are going to be enforced next year in other countries. What we had said was, report incidents within 6 hours of noticing, appointing a Chief Information Security Officer or a point of contact who will be in touch with the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Ensure proper time synchronization of all your devices, keep logs for 180 days, carry out KYC of your customers, etc. What additionally we have said is conduct regular audits, including voluntary assessments and penetration testing. Improve your cloud and API security. We publish the API security white paper, which is there on our website along with MasterCard. So I would urge you to go ahead and read that. It will help you. Get onboarded onto some of the platforms that Certain has, and some of these are all free of cost. If you have to go outside and get these things, you spend a lot of money. So we have Cyber Swasta cable, which will tell you what sort of bots, malware, etc. are there in your systems. So if you get onboarded, you get free of cost on a daily basis. You get this input. Our National Cyber Coordination Center, where we can look at the emerging threat landscape and what is evolving. We have a cyber threat intelligence platform where we are providing regular inputs as to which APT actors are working in which space, etc., whether it is impacting you or not. We also conduct drills and mock drills and exercises on a regular basis. Till date, we have conducted 92 mock drill exercises in the domestic sector and 12 in the international sector. So participate in those. That will help you understand where you are lacking in people, process, technology, etc. And you will be able to improve yourselves. We also keep publishing advisories on a regular basis. Follow those, it will help you strengthen your security posture. With that, I think I have tried to give you an overall picture. If you ask me further questions, I'll be happy to address those, but that gives you an idea about where the fintech industry is today, what it has to do to go into a mature state, and the effort that will be required. I mean, frank feedback from all of you. This is what we see on ground. Do you see something different, or have I said something different?
I know, sir, I think completely resonates. I think this is pretty professional. Thank you for giving all your laundry list of threat, vulnerabilities.
Laundry list, but this is the actual stuff.
Yes, and as well the recommendation. I think if everyone follows, I think our digital or fintech ecosystem will be much more safer and secure. So thank you very much, sir, for I think, sir, let's keep in the ground. So moving to you, Vijay, sir. So you are the principal secretary for the CM and Maharashtra Government IPS officer of 96 batch. Sir, you've been into Maharashtra, and Mumbai is the financial capital of India as well, right, as one of the kind of biggest city in the world as well. Do you see any kind of pattern for Mumbai-based financial industry or fintech or any kind of special threat, or can you correlate with the geopolitical threat where we should be more careful? So if you could have any insight, happy to hear from you, sir.
I'm thrilled to be in the presence of the guardians of the digital frontiers. Now, had they been in America, you would have seen them wearing capes. But, the frontier has come to your pocket. The digital frontier is in your pocket. And look at the magnitude of changes that is happening world over. Somewhere we suddenly became an information society, and everything got digitized. Right, from your presence to your money to your location to your identity, everything got digitized. It has advantages. Let me give you an example from Maharashtra. So Maharashtra came up with this scheme of direct beneficiary transfer of cash to women, 1,500 rupees. Would you believe that within 20 days, the state government machinery rolled out this scheme, and 1.15 crore women were identified, verified, and money was delivered to their accounts. Imagine the scale of things that happens in India. And it's all due to, he's protecting it, and UPCI is giving us the framework, UPI is allowing us to do a quick verification. So this is the scale of things we are, it's a managerial society without adequate protections. Now, we all are security professionals here in some way or other. The realm of security and the principles of security are they cut across domains. For example, if there's a VIP, so for that VIP, we draw rings of security. That there's a close protection ring which specializes in something very specific. Then there's a middle ring, and then there's an outer ring, and then there's the larger ecosystem. For any asset, when you are protecting this, you have to keep a watch on the kinds of threats that are emerging. The way our digital ecosystem is progressing, it is definitely a great target for all our adversaries. See, earlier what they used to do, they used to put sanctions. Look, after the Russia-Ukraine war happened, what happened? That the US financial system put sanctions on countries. And see how the financial ecosystem responded to it. That in fact, the dollar is getting weakened due to the war. And in the next some years, you would find again a dollar which is weakening, because most of the central banks have started purchasing gold and other currencies. So all this in a digitized world, and how controls were put on SWIFT ecosystem, wherein you could not send any money to Russian entities. So a lot of Russian money, which was in rupee-ruble trade, got stuck because it couldn't be sent back. So what I'm trying to say is that as digitization happens, as societies become more digital, they become more digitally vulnerable. See, what looks in Bangladesh as a Gen Z revolution, if you go into the details of it, you see who was operating it. It was Pakistan's ISI, in cahoots with Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, who created this, huge furor, and they planted somebody who's an old CIA shield as the Prime Minister, which looks as a Gen Z revolution is something which is basically been, decided by some people and crafted in a way where you digitally affect people's minds. And it's a standard methodology. Look at the color revolutions, look at the Arab Springs, where social media has been used in a very particular way. So the information realm is a realm which is under attack. And as I was saying about concentric rings of security, so does apply to our digital space. That there may be adversaries which are nation states, which are entities. So look at unit number 61398 of China Second Bureau, Third Department, or 61486. There are 2 units. Like this, China has specialized units. They have units which specialize. There is a unit which specializes in Fintech. There is a unit which specializes in espionage. There is a unit which specializes in social engineering. Now imagine that they are deeply resourced. They have a deep understanding right from firmware to chips. So tomorrow you never know. In the fog of war, if you look at the Chinese doctrines, war doctrines, they talk of total integrated warfare, wherein no realm is different, right from information to kinetic. Some might be also. Yeah. So now we are creating a body politic or a system where you have not created an immune system. Security cannot be an afterthought. If it is an important asset, tomorrow let's say the Prime Minister is coming here, there would be months and months of drills which have gone through. There would be procedures, there would be threat intelligence. They would have also mapped out what are the adversaries, what are their capabilities, what are their motivations. Similarly in the digital realm, if you are, a part, you are not independent. You are a part of a supply chain. You will be a small fintech, but you will be integrating into something. And you may, if you are compromised, you will be the weakest chain in the link where you will end up compromising the entire financial ecosystem. So today, if you look at G20, G20 came up with a report wherein they said that the stability of the financial ecosystem is under threat by cybercrime. So this is the magnitude of things we are looking at. And how do we secure this? We secure it at all levels. So the way we, you can't just build an app and say that the user is stupid or he shared his OTP. No, please be responsible. You see to it that you make it in a way where all kinds of failure mode analysis has been done, and that poor chap's money, which is your responsibility, is not taken away by somebody who's smarter than us. And law and regulation would always be behind. Wonderful frameworks have come up. Wonderful frameworks have come up from RBI, from SEBI, and they are good. Where is this happening? No, my mic is not broken. There's some other mic which is somebody doing it. Yeah. So I believe that you can't just say that the customer is stupid. No. You gave him that data. It's your responsibility. And slowly, if you look at RBI's, it is starting to put the onus on fintech and companies. But look at regulators. The problem is, if you regulate more, it will kill innovation. And hence, approaches of light touch regulation and the regulatory sandbox, which I think the government of India is practicing, are wonderful steps. Is that today they are asking people that we want to regulate about this, why don't you come and talk to us? Also, why don't you increase our regulatory competence by telling us about your sector? Let's say the government does not understand, maybe you assume that the government does not understand blockchain or Bitcoin. Come and tell us. And here the government is open. And look here, such senior people have flown from Delhi, they are talking to you, and they are asking for your feedback, because you are handling it. And it is a joint responsibility. It's no more, a responsibility like that the nation's borders should be protected by, let's say, border police, or in case of a breach by the army. it is, since the digital frontier is in your pocket, it is everybody's responsibility. And that's responsibility in the terms of like basic cyber hygiene at your level, and the person who's providing you with that app, it's their responsibility to secure code, see to it that they're right from their APIs to their DBs are proper. To the people who are providing an ecosystem, why does Google allow Chinese drone apps? I was yesterday talking somewhere. I said that if you want to upload a video, and if it has a song which is copyrighted, then they won't allow you to upload that video on YouTube. If you are so careful about copyright, why aren't you careful about my poor citizen whose money is being taken away by a Chinese drone scammer? So this kind of diligence we should ask as a society, as a user, as government. We should ask this to be enforced from everybody, from the user to have proper cyber hygiene, from the ecosystem provider, from the app maker, from the regulator, and from all of us. It's a question of collective responsibility. It's not going to automatically happen. See, cybersecurity is like breathing. Everything is okay till it stops. So, and you have to understand that there are forces which are well resourced, which are very capable, which have a very good understanding, and who are well motivated to attack us continuously. And if we want to grow as a digital sovereign nation, it is a responsibility, it's a joint responsibility of this nation as a whole to protect the digital.
Thank you, sir. For this fascinating interview, I wish we could have had more time. So, takeaway for me is that it's a human responsibility. Cyber hygiene, since you are carrying the digital or mobile in your pocket, it's our individual responsibility as well, and it's also a public and private partnership. Only government can't do anything, so let's work together. So thank you, Vijay sir, for sharing your thought. Now, Sandeep, you also run and protect one of the largest DPI or digital public infrastructure called UIDAI, where biometrics PII data is stored of more than 1.4 billion, if I'm not wrong. So, what are the threat actors you observe, and what are the quick tips from your side to manage this large DPI from security or cyber security angles, Sandeep?
So good afternoon, everybody, and honored to be here in GFF as this part of your understanding. So now you've got a taste of the global threat, you've got the issue perspective, and you've been totally overall in terms of, I'm sure you're scared. So now what Bahl sir said was a perfect storm. So who's facing that perfect storm? One of them is me. Of course. Yeah. So now to just to allay fears in terms of how a DPI should be structured, how the security should be managed or designed there. And if you put some thoughts to it. So in Aadhaar, where your identity data is stored, so the very good part of thought was that it was security by design and privacy by design. So what we've done is that we've captured 7 attributes. In addition, we captured your email and mobile, which is optional. What we do is that when we say security by design, privacy by design is that whatever is required has been captured, not more than that. With a purpose, we are purpose agnostic. When I say purpose agnostic, I don't know what is happening. That is a fact. It's the Aadhaar Act which speaks for it. Moreover, what we do is that whenever we capture that data, its life cycle starts with encryption. So when you initially enroll, the whole thing is captured as encrypted packet and remains encrypted to its life cycle. What we do is only pick up templates of that, encrypt that again, and use that for authentication. That is your biometric match or your face match. Right? So the standard approach is that what we look at in UIDAI is having a risk-based approach, which every enterprise generally now looks at. Give it more context so that you're well aware if the vulnerability will impact you or not, and then only take action. Beyond that, when I say defense in depth, now multiple controls are in place. So at perimeter level, at the identity level, these all come into protect the CID. So when I say fundamentally, when your data is encrypted encrypted at all times, we also make sure that how we expose our data. So we expose our portal through only on the internet zone. The balance with partners is a lease line. So that when we speak to a partner, it is on a lease line basis, exposing APIs in that manner, making sure that the API protection is in place, as well as it is only for that particular partner that the API is being exposed. Zero trust, everybody is, it's a buzzword, but the question is in terms of implementation. We talk of segmentation, we talk of identity, trust plus verify. These all controls are in place. And when we say, even our initially way Aadhaar has been structured, when we say that initial authentication happens, is again on a zero trust. So when the most unique way of identifying yourself is your biometrics. And there also, we try to bring in a two-factor at whenever required. That's what we do. In addition, what we've done is that to add on to this, the whole thing, when we say multiple controls, anything and everything, you can bring in all technologies, but you need to have a set of piece of governance. So a very structured practice of governance, risk and compliance, making sure that on a regular basis we do our risk assessment, we do our compliance internally, and our partners are audited on a regular basis. In fact, we do some special audits also to make sure that nothing goes wrong. That is the goal. Now, the end of it, what I would say is that, okay, fine, that is all theory and every enterprise would have it. Proof is putting speaking. The very fact that I'm sitting here and talking to you seems that all is there. That's what I can say. And rest assured, the way it has been structured, I would give credit to the initial architects who planned it, designed it, and the team had good way. So that's the way we have structured this DPI, and this is the model which was emulated in UPI and further in other ways also. So a brief about this is what I want to tell the environment.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think can we let me just summarize in 30 seconds. So we learned from NCSC sir that what are the government outlook and what are the major geopolitical threats we have. From Dr. Bahl that what are the recommendations for any cybersecurity professionals that invest in cybersecurity, follow the certain guidelines, implement the robust MFA, encryption and all those best practices, improve your cyber hygiene. It's a serious game, so we should not be taking lightly cybersecurity. We learned from this that it's very interesting, sir. In this, I would have more time. So how this Bangladesh and this all the issues, it's a very interesting story, and I wanted to have more. Indeed, we were able to provide that our biometric PI data is kind of safe and secure in your vault. So we are much content and happy to know that. Thank you, gentlemen, once again. Thank you for your time.